for joining our AMA today. For the record, if I sound kind of stuffy, it's because I'm getting over the flu. But, it's good to be back and in the groove of things. Fall weather and college football is upon us in the USA, so I hope you all are having a good time with the fall festivities. And to our Canadian friends, happy Thanksgiving. And I'm here today with ABFTFTW as a co host.
Hey, thanks, Pineapple. Hope you're starting to feel a little bit better at least. Here in the States, we have Halloween coming up, and for our German bros, happy Oktoberfest. I have a shindig for Oktoberfest coming up next weekend, matter of fact. But anyways, let's get on with the show. Hit us with that first question, Pineapple.
Thanks, ABFTFTW. So this first one is from a anonymous user. What specific types of real-world assets, RWAs, would be the first to be integrated into the saucerswap DEX?
Hey everyone, yeah, thanks for joining this AMA. This is a great first question to kick things off. RWAs are top of mind for us when we think about kind of what's next for SaucersSwap and what's the next big opportunity for the growth of Hedera DeFi. So if you've seen on our X account, we have put out a couple posts recently about RWAs on Hedera, specifically how Hedera is uniquely suited for RWAs. And this goes beyond performance. Hedera has taken an effort to position itself as a mature solution for tokenization. And if you've been around for a while or have done a deep dive into Hedera, you know that the two founders, Lehman Barrett and Mance Harmon, have shared a vision for Hedera in past town halls and lectures. And the reason I mention that is I think we're only now starting to see what that vision could look like in practice. Before it was more abstract, and now we have an opportunity to put it into practice. It is still an emerging area, and navigating RWAs and the infrastructure around it is not a simple feat. There isn't really much precedent for tokenizing real world assets. There's uncertainty around the regulations, the permissions required, and the role of a permissionless DEX, and how that kind of interplays in expanding access. That's all still evolving. As for RWAs that are already trading on SaucersSwap, there are a couple. One of them is Diamond Standard. They have tokenized diamonds as NFTs, and they've issued a fungible token called Carrot, and that represents fractional ownership of those NFTs. And that is available right now through SaucersSwap's permissionless liquidity pools. So we already have seen the start of RWAs being integrated on Hedera and swapped on SaucersSwap. But for what's next, I think there are two main avenues we expect to be fruitful for RWA integration. The first is projects that choose Hedera to launch RWAs from the start. This could involve projects like Red Swan, for example, which is fractionalizing ownership of commercial real estate and creating a fungible token counterpart for that tokenized commercial real estate. Projects tokenizing gold, other commodities, or even tokenized invoices and receivables. That is kind of a new trend in the RWA conversation. And those assets can have fungible token counterparts, which would be relevant to the operations of a DEX. So there are multiple RWA projects in development on Hedera. We see immense potential for RWAs to transform the DeFi ecosystem, and that's one main avenue. The second avenue is established RWA projects that we can connect to Hedera by enhancing interoperability. So that would be working with our partners and um, and working on our user interface. So let me be direct. We've been working with Axelar, which is a interchain communication protocol, and essentially they connect multiple networks and allow a separate protocol called Squid to facilitate inter-network bridging of tokens. So what we expect from this integration is a broad range of tokens to move between Hedera and other networks. And this has really been kind of a pain point for Hedera, just having one bridge that has served us very well, but interoperability has been an obstacle. So that's one thing that we've been really spearheading, and I think this holds a lot of potential for RWAs. Not only RWAs, but also stablecoin liquidity, which again is a bit of a pain point on Hedera. So the second thing I wanted to mention with regards to RWAs and stablecoins is just how they relate to a kind of broader challenge for Hedera. There is just a need for greater liquidity, and the Hedera DeFi ecosystem, although we've had some great success, we do need to unlock that next level of usage and adoption, and the metrics that come along with that. So in our view, maximizing interoperability with this Axelar integration as well as some other endeavors is the most fruitful kind of endeavor to not only lower the barrier to entry to participate in Hedera DeFi, but also increase network visibility um, to some of the developments that are happening on the network. On a related note, we are working with the native RWA projects launching on Hedera to understand their needs and ensure saucerswap can add as much value as possible. As I mentioned, this is kind of a nascent, emerging space, and there's been a lot of information gathering around what these projects actually need out of a permissionless DEX, what kind of permissions they need, if those can exist at the token level, etc. So that's been kind of a long-standing conversation. In sum, we do believe that Hedera is kind of like Plato's perfect form of Hedera lies in real-world tokenization and permissionless access to on-chain value. So RWA's top of mind for us. We do expect some significant developments here, both natively and as well as some more established RWA projects coming over from Axelar and other networks.
Yeah, the squid router being nascent or not is still really exciting stuff, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm pretty stoked about that. All right, the next questions and comments comes from Anon. Anon says, "Congrats on the recent sex listings. If we have a real bull run in the near future, is the team ready to engage with tier one sexes for new sauce listings? And can you do any prep work in readiness?"
Yeah, thanks for this question. So we aren't in a position to comment on future centralized exchange listings at the moment. We just don't want to set unrealistic expectations. But we will say that increasing access to saucerswap is a key goal for us. I think we really hit this point a lot in our socials and in our AMAs. It's all about access and visibility. To that end, we are committed to pursuing opportunities that help us achieve those objectives.
Awesome sauce. Next question is also from Anon. Will you partner with BitGo as a DeFi liquidity provider for the USDS launch in January 2025? USDS on Hedera could boost DeFi.
Yeah, we've definitely been keeping an eye on USDS. It looks like a promising development with a lot of potential for DeFi. The Axelar bridge should provide easy access to USDS once it launches. And as for a deeper partnership, it does seem like the HBAR Foundation or possibly the Hashgraph Association would be better positioned to lead those efforts. But as for just a token integration and kind of the liquidity and usage it can bring, we definitely see potential there.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. All right, Leonardo. Leonardo says, "Hey team, I hope you guys are doing well. I have a question for Pineapple. How was your trip at Tokyo or Token 2049? Any stories or highlights to share with the community? Thank you. Spill the beans, Pineapple. What's going on? What'd you do?"
Thanks. Thanks for the question, Leonardo. So yeah, first of all, Token 2049 took place in Singapore, and Singapore was a really wonderful experience. It's very clean. The transit system was great. The food was awesome, and the people were friendly. Overall, I had a great time meeting the folks at the HBAR Foundation, the Hashgraph Association, and Hashgraph, and also meeting other builders on Hedera. As for Token 2049 conference itself, it was really exciting to see all of the crypto ecosystem and partners in one place. There was a lot of good vibe, a lot of momentum and excitement. Seems like RWAs was the hot topic of the conference, and it certainly seems like that is where the crypto space is expanding to. And personally, is one of the sectors I'm really excited for, especially on Hedera. And lastly, I also want to give a big shout out and thanks to the HBAR Foundation for making this trip possible by having a builder's booth at the conference and at the Karate Combat 49. Yeah, so overall, my experience was really wonderful. And moving on to the next question by Anonymous. A recent forum post discussed the need to readjust sauce farm emissions to LP pools that was set pre-governance. What is the team's opinion on adjusting sauce emission?
Yeah, what a great question, and kind of very in sync with what we've been discussing at saucerswap Labs. So let me start by just saying we have been really happy to see the engagement on the governance forum. There's been some discussions recently that have been really thought-provoking, and it's been good to see that. The proposal that I think this question is referring to specifically is particularly well thought out and articulated. And so just thank you to all the active participants in the governance process. It's been really good. To address the question specifically, as for adjusting the sauce emission weights, particularly with the upcoming bridges and a shift in incentives to align with some updated goals and target metrics, it's certainly a lever we can pull. And with the launch of saucerswap version 2 almost a year ago, if you can believe it, we have analyzed significant data on liquidity and volume across version 1 and version 2. And some interesting insights have emerged. The kind of main story and the key takeaway is that version 2 is outperforming version 1 in almost every way. Version 1 still has its place and has served SauceSwap and its users well, but we are contemplating how to double down on version 2. That involves kind of relevant to this question, shifting incentives, but also streamlining liquidity provision, making the UX easier, making Larry the token reward system for version 2 easier to visualize. That involves showing rewards in real time, and we actually have that pretty much developed, so hopefully we can get that out in the not too distant future. Almost certainly that'll be out by the next AMA. The main value proposition of version 2 over version 1 is the increased real yield and reduced reliance on token emissions. Of course, we had the update to our tokenomics in anticipation of version 2, and that has been a positive development. And there is room for more optimization, possibly reducing sauce emissions to version 1 even more and improving the version 2 user experience, along with some more integrations to facilitate easier liquidity management. I don't think it's a secret that auto pools is a great idea in practice, but maybe, great idea in theory, but maybe in practice it hasn't lived up to user expectations. So I think there's an opportunity there as well. So anyway, with the reducing or adjusting sauce farm emissions to LP pools, that has been a key topic internally. And regarding the proposal, we're in alignment with the author, H. Barbara, on re-examining the incentive structure, specifically as bridges like Axelar come online and the DeFi ecosystem matures.
Yeah, I think I know what the problem is. See, we're sitting here screwing around with V1s and V2s. If we went straight for a V8, we might have enough power to just kickstart the whole bull run. But anyway, that's just neither here nor there. Next question is, where are we with number 1 retail requested feature community pools? Please, can they be prioritized ASAP? What are the current priorities of the roadmap? Thanks, team.
Well, yeah, it would not be a saucerswap AMA without addressing the elephant in the room, community pools. So I know this is important for many users, so let me address it directly. The vision for community pools has evolved since we first added it to our roadmap. Initially, it was envisioned as a system of smart contracts, kind of an Ethereum style implementation. But as our protocol developed and we released features like Larry, which is a Hedera specific novelty, and the reward mechanism for version 2, we reconsidered the design to ensure a seamless integration across the entire protocol. We believe that how it was originally designed as a standalone system of contracts is not the best solution. Instead, community pools could work in conjunction with the Larry incentive system, which is where the current iteration of community pools fits in. And I just want to mention, while it may seem like an essential feature to some users and something that should be urgently developed just due to its theoretical potential for increased rewards, it actually really depends on having a well-developed ecosystem with numerous builders and projects launching. Our main focus right now is on maximizing the viability of the broader DeFi ecosystem rather than developing a discrete feature that kind of waits for the market to be ready. It's no secret that saucerswap has a very significant market dominance on Hedera. So the future of saucerswap depends on the future of Hedera DeFi. So by prioritizing the overall health and growth of DeFi on Hedera, all of the saucerswap features, including community pools, will have increased utility and provide more value. So we do still see value in community pools, not necessarily as originally designed, but as a reimagined concept integrated in a more thoughtful manner. And the key point here is that it should happen at the right time in Hedera DeFi's development. So I hope that makes sense.
Thank you for the insight. This next one is from Anon as well. Based on this year's operation so far, has the platform become self-sufficient based on revenue and current expenses?
Another great question. Plainly speaking, if token emissions ended right now, saucerswap Labs and the protocol would be fine, but we are not yet at the stage of complete self-sufficiency. Achieving self-sufficiency as a DEX is actually quite difficult, and sustainability in operations is our primary goal, and that requires a few things, but the main thing is consistent usage of the protocol to sustain itself. That is why we are taking a high level approach to our development rather than focusing on short-term endeavors like hype driven features or engaging in short-term hype marketing or some things that maybe are commonplace in Web3. If you've been around long enough and you know saucerswap, you know we're in it for the long run. We're not really interested in just creating temporary buzz without substance. So we do prefer to be measured in our approach and focus on sustainability and market maturation and building a protocol that can support itself for years to come. So basically, we are not yet 100% self-sufficient and self-reliant, but that is our main goal, and we've made a lot of progress to that end.
It's really crazy to think that the this project has been in the works for over 3 years at this point, and yeah, you can see that we're all in it for the long haul. Good stuff, Peter. All right, Anon wants to know: are you working with Hedera to integrate the asset tokenization studio, or what?
Yeah. So the asset tokenization studio is not really something that we would work with directly. It's more intended for project creators and token issuers rather than a DEX. So at this time, we have not worked with Hashgraph to integrate the tokenization studio for the time being.
Thanks for that, Peter. Next one is also from Anon. Can you teach us how to verify emissions weights from on-chain data? The SaucersSwap docs have the emission weights data for V1 pools out of date for a while now.
So it is technically possible to verify emission weights from on-chain data, but yeah, it's not practical for most users to do that. So we recognize the importance of our documentation, particularly around emission weights for version 1 pools, and it's currently out of date. So we have several updates planned for both the product and developer documentation, actually, and updating the emission weights is already being tracked, and that will be addressed as soon as possible. So thank you for your patience.
Awesome. Anon wants to know: when are you guys going to change blockchains? Saucer Swap's too good to waste time on Hedera, y'all.
So yeah, first let me just say Hedera is an excellent network. I know we've had some challenges, but Hedera is truly an amazing network, and we see immense potential in its future. There has never been, nor is there now, any plans to quote switch networks or change blockchains, as the question posed it. However, many dexes do eventually go multi-chain, and that is something we're potentially interested in as a way to expand and grow the protocol. While there's no timeline at the moment, and we don't want to promise anything, we have done a lot of market research on this. Several protocols have successfully pursued a multi-chain strategy, and the time may come for SaucersSwap to do the same.
Thank you for that, Peter. This next one is also from Anon. Will the team consider working with Hashpoint Research to deploy some cool models and data displays?
I actually was not aware of Hashpoint before doing a bit of research for this AMA. I might be a bit out of the loop on that one, but it looks very cool. If the developer is tuned in, or if anyone knows who they are and wants to make an intro, please feel free to do so. Again, it's possible that I'm a bit out of the loop on this one. I'm just catching up, but we would certainly be happy to talk with Hashpoint based on the apparent quality of their work.
Nice. Next question is, what's the team looking forward to for the end of the year and into the new year? Peter, take this one, please.
Will do. Just wanted to mention I got a message from Noob. So Hashpoint is Hgraph, same guys, leading Wallet Connect. So we're already connected with them. So yeah, we'll look into a potential there. To answer the question around end of the year and into the new year, I think I'll just recap what I've mentioned as our main focuses for development for the time being and into the future. Number one, interoperability. Number two, RWAs. And number three, protocol expansion and self-reliance. So 2025 does look quite promising for Web3, kind of in the broader market. So we are going to stay focused on long-term success for the saucerswap protocol.
Thanks for that, Peter. This next question is from Anon. Is it possible for saucerswap to archive the AMAs on YouTube for those who can't attend the live events? So I'll just go ahead and answer this one. Yes. So we actually have them on our YouTube channel, saucerswap Labs. We have the August AMA uploaded, and in September we didn't have an AMA, so there wasn't a video for that. However, this current October AMA, it will be uploaded within a week. And also to note, we have a AMA channel in our general Discord that has all of our audio recordings that you can refer to as well. And then on Reddit, one of our users, Cynical Septia, they post a transcript of our AMAs on our Reddit page called saucerswap. So there's a wealth of information, and if you still have trouble looking for them, feel free to just ask a question in the general channel, and we can direct you to the appropriate sites. Thanks.
That's right. Yeah, whenever this one's over, hit me with the assets, and I will get the next video made, and we'll get it all uploaded. Sounds good. A big thank you to everyone who tuned in, and it was great hosting as usual. But before we go, I think you all know how this goes. Pineapple, you have some parting words for us?
Yes, thanks, ABFTFTW. So this was a short and sweet and also very informative AMA. Thanks for all of the questions and the continued engagement on our governance. Before we sign off, the team would like to award 2 Dog Star Awards. Last month we didn't have an AMA, so this month there's an extra one to make up for it. So thank you to Rijad and Fleebs for your continued involvement in the Hedera and SauceSwap ecosystem. You guys are great. Continue doing what you guys do best. And to claim your awards, please submit a support ticket with your wallet IDs. So thank you all, and I look forward to the November AMA.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, have a great rest of your October. We hope to see you soon. We also encourage you to check out the governance forum and the governance page on our web app. As I mentioned, there's been some great discussions happening there. So take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later, dude.